Okay, we are taking a look now. Alright, we are taking a look now at number 3. Okay, notice you have another slope field here. You need to look for your zero slopes first. So I'd look to see what is going to zero this out. So notice that my zeros will be when x is 0 or if y is 0. Okay, because whenever I multiply two numbers, if one of them 0, it zeroes out the whole thing. So I'll have 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, all of those are flat. Then out of the points that are left over, you would just plug those in. Okay, so for example, if I was doing these 2 points, okay, this is 1, 1, this is 1, 2. So then I'd plug in right here. If I do negative, this is 1 times 2 squared over 2. This is negative 1 times 1 squared over 2. Well, then I'd say, okay, 2 squared is 4, 4 divided by 2 is 2, but it's a negative 2. Then I'm going to come down here, I'm going to look at it, 1 squared is 1, so that's a negative 1/2. That needs to be a little bit flatter. So I have steeper and then flatter. Okay, and you would just do that for the other 4 points that are left over. Here, 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 here. Okay, equation for the tangent line, you're going to need a point. Point's right there. You should be able to find that. Then when you separate, this is the part that I wanted to kind of look at on this one. If it's negative xy squared over 2, the way that I would separate that is negative 1/2 x times y squared. So remember that your x can be over 2 by itself, so that'll kind of be like your x side, and then that'll be your y side. Okay? So when I separate, this part's going to end up on the bottom, 1 over y squared dy. And then on the other side, I'm going to have negative 1/2 x dx, and then integrate, integrate. Now, remember on this left side, I know I said this earlier, but this is not ln. You have to rewrite it. So when I rewrite that, it's going to be y to the minus 2 dy. Okay, this is not a natural log. Okay, and the reason why is because it's not 1 over y, it's 1 over y squared. That's a totally different equation. So I'm going to do normal power rule on that. So I'm going to add 1. Negative 2 plus 1 gives me y to the negative 1. And then after I add 1 to that, I have to divide by that new exponent. So I have a negative 1 in the front. Okay, then other side here, I'm going to add 1 to that. I'm going to get x squared. Then divide by 2, I get negative 1/4. Because remember, if you're dividing by 2, you're really multiplying by 1/2. Then plus c. Okay, then just to help you kind of finish this one out, if y to the negative 1 is on top, then that really needs to be y to the 1 on the bottom. Now, obviously, you don't have to write the 1 power, but the negative 1 on top has to be there as a placeholder to show that your y is moving down. Okay, then other side, I have negative 1/4 x squared plus c. Well, the next step, I'm going to multiply by negative 1. That's going to cross out my negative here and here. So now I have 1 over y, 1/4 x squared. Now remember, technically this is a minus c now, but we don't really care because we didn't know what c was anyway. Then from there, I'm going to think about this whole side as a fraction. And then remember, as long as I flip both sides, I'm allowed to do that as a step for solving. So my 1 over y, I'm going to flip to be a y equals. And then on the other side, I'm going to have 1 over 1/4 x squared plus c. Okay, that would be your general solution. Okay, then don't forget that in your next step, you need to go back and find that plus c. Tells you up here that f of 2 is 1/5. So you would use that to find your c. Okay? And you will end up needing to do a little bit of cross multiplying on that.